okay, right, tonight, the first thing that I want to do is do our hinges. So, as you can imagine, I realised that we needed to do the hinges and I hadn't written the cutting guide. So I did it when I was a little bit overexcited. So whether or not it's right is another matter. So I really wouldn't do this if I was you until I've done mine and I know that it's right. Okay, so...
Hello from Ali and Polo.
Oh yes, hello Ali, hello Polo. Woof woof. So, yeah, I really wouldn't work along with me at all tonight because it's all going to go horribly wrong because I'm just too excited. So, trimmer.
Unlike normal.
No, I'm not overly excited normally.
No, I wasn't referring to that part.
Oh, what? Getting the sizes wrong? Yeah, well, yeah, I know, but I've got a good excuse now.
Mm.
Right, okay, so this is what I think. Whether it's right or not, I don't know. So for our hinges, we need to cut a piece that is 8 inches by 8 7/8 of an inch, which is, if you don't do inches and stuff, you miss the news, Karen. Daughter, she's 21, she lives down near London, she's moving next Saturday to Birmingham, yes, which is only what, 20 miles away, so we're super happy. Right, okay, I'm just going to explain this to you because there's a lot of 1/8 of an inches in this whole hinge thing going on, and I'd better just explain to you what 1/8 of an inch is in case you're not sure. So here is my ruler. And, you know, in MiniBook land, we work in inches. So, obviously, I've got my inches here on my ruler, okay? And you can see that there's lots of little sort of mini measurements. So, 1/2 inch is going to be where that long line is in the middle between... I'm going to look at the 3 and the 4. So, in the middle between the 3 and the 4 there, that's 1/2 inch. Obviously, you know this. So, 1/4 inch is... the one in between that, and then we've got 1/8 of an inch, which are the ones in between that, and then 1/16 of an inch, but sod that, I ain't worried about 1/16 of an inch. So when I say 7/8 of an inch, what I mean is I want you to cut to 1/8 of an inch before the inch mark, if that makes sense. I'm presuming that my glasses are stuck, that my screen has just stopped because I'm not seeing any of this. I can't even tell if it's in focus. So are we all right with 1/8 of an inch thingies?
There's about 8 in an inch.
There are 8/8 of an inch in an inch. So there are, this is kind of where it starts getting, it sounds a lot more complicated than I'm making it. If you look at the cutting guide, you're going to look at it and go, oh my word, but actually it's really quite easy. Okay, so right, so I've cut my hinges, which I cut at 8 by 8 7/8 of an inch. I just had to check I'd done that right. Okay, so right now I'm going to get my scoreboard.
It's one at that, isn't it?
You what?
How many of them do you cut?
One.
Yeah.
So we're going to score on the 8 7/8 of an inch side. So we're going to put the 8 7/8 of an inch at the top, okay? Now this hinge has got 2-inch wings at either side. Evening Adam, evening Michelle, evening Anne. So I'm going to score my first score line at 2 inches. At 2 inches, okay? Now, the hinges on this book are all the same size. They're all 1/2 inch height, okay? But we have the gussets are different widths. So we have 2 at 1/4 of an inch and 1 at 3/8 of an inch. And it's the one at 3/8 of an inch that's causing the oddness in some of the marks that we're going to make. So I've scored at 2 inches. I'm going to score at 2.5 inches. and I'm going to score at 3 inches. Okay, so that's my first hinge. That's my wings that attach to the spine, and that's my first hinge. Now my first gusset is going to be 1/4 of an inch, so I'm going to score at 3 1/4 inches. Okay, now we're going to get on to the next hinge, which of course is 1/2 an inch. So we're going to score at 3 3/4 inches and 4 1/4 inches. So what I've got now is I've got my 2 hinges that stick up, and I've got my 1/4 of an inch gusset. Now the next gusset, I wanted it to be slightly wider than 1/4 of an inch. So 3/8 of an inch was obviously the way to go. Evening, Anne. Yes, Vandra, it really will. I'm so excited. She wants a fancy bath mat apparently, so I'll have to go and have a look online for one when we've finished. So the next one needs to be 3/8 of an inch. Now my scoreboard is divided into 1/8 of an inch increments. Okay, so if I just count 3/8 of an inch, that's going to take me up to 4 5/8 of an inch.
That's what you got. Yeah.
That's what I've got, isn't it? So it's slightly wider than the previous gusset and slightly thinner than the hinge. I've just confused that all now. Okay. Anyway, so now we need to go back to our hinges, and we need to score 1/2 an inch from that point, which will give us 5 1/8 of an inch.
Yeah.
And then the next one is 5 and
5/8 is what you've got.
5 5/8.
That's what you've written.
Is that right?
And then 5 7/8.
Yeah. And then 5 7/8, because that will give us a 1/4 of an inch gusset. Yeah, that looks right to me. And then we're going to score at 1/2 an inch again, which will mean that we're scoring at 6 3/8 of an inch. I know, I'm sorry about this, guys, but there really will. It'll be worth it. And then 6 7/8 of an inch. Okay, so, oh, I've lost my picture again. So you can see here, I've got my first hinge, gusset, first hinge, slightly wider gusset, that's the one in the middle. Third hinge, little gusset, 4th hinge. Okay, right? Are we good? Oh God, no! Oh no! I've got grand mice and a grand cat, and that's fine by me. I was having this conversation. I mean, if there comes a day when we're grandparents, then I'm going to love that. It's going to be amazing. But I have absolutely no desire to be a grandmother. It's not on my bucket list. If I'm never a grandmother, that's fine by me. If she has children, that's fine by me too. I don't mind either way, but I'm not going to be a pushy mum who says, give me grandchildren. I might say, give me craft supplies.
We'll give them back.
Yeah, we will give them back. Ah, right, okay, so is there anybody who hasn't made hinges before, this sort of hinge before?
Hands up.
Hands up so we can see. I'm just wondering how much detail I need to go into. Oh, everybody's gone quiet. I'd like to think it's the lag.
Of course, Mal's got twice the chance of being a grandparent.
Yeah, she has, yeah. Right, repeat the scoring again. Okay, all right, Alison, I'll read it to you. We're going to score on the 1/8 and 7/8 of an inch side. So that means that the longest... Oh, Chucky's put her hand up. Okay, right, it's dead easy. I'm making it sound more complicated than it is. Once you've done this bit, the worst is over, all right? So you're going to score on the 7 7/8 inch side, which means it's a 7 7/8 inch side that goes at the top. And I want you to score at 2 inches, 2.5 inches, 3 inches, 3 1/4 inches, 3 3/4 inches, 4 1/4 inches, 4 5/8 of an inch, 5 1/8 of an inch, 5 5/8 of an inch. You could copy and paste this again, Mark, if you wouldn't. Oh, you have. Bless you. 5 7/8 of an inch. 6 3/8 of an inch, and 6 7/8 of an inch. If you're stuck, the cutting guide is in the group, so you can print this out, and it looks miraculously like it's actually right. So there's the novel. Okay, so if you print this out, that might be helpful. Okay, so if you can see, this might be useful for you to see, Jackie. What I've got is, I don't know how well you can see this, but I've got 4 sets of hinges, and these are all exactly the same size. So when we come to fold, each of my hinges will be 1/2 inch. This isn't showing up very well on the screen. And then I've got the gussets, which are the ones that are slightly different shapes. So when we come to put it together, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold and burnish before I come to glue. So I've got my first score mark.
What?
My first score mark, and I'm just going to fold on that. Okay. So that's going to sit in my book like that. And then I'm going to fold my first hinge. So it's going to stick together like that. Okay. All right, Jackie. So what I've done is I've folded. I've got like a V shape. So this is my mountain. This is the top of my fold. And we're going to glue these together in a minute, and that is what is going to make our hinge. Okay. So in between each hinge, we have a gap, which is the gusset. So there's my first hinge, which means that the next bit, that 1/4 inch there, that is going to be my gusset. So the next set of lines are going to be another hinge. So if I just fold that up, but just fold it up from that bit down there. Hold on. What you'll see now, if I folded it right, is I've got my wing, which is the bit that's going to attach to the side of the book. I've got my first hinge. Then I've got that 1/4 inch gusset. And now I've got another 1/2 inch hinge. Okay. Now the next gusset we've got is 3/8 of an inch. So it's a tiny, tiny bit wider. So now I'm just going to fold my card again. So I'm making another hinge. So now I've got hinge, gusset, hinge, slightly larger gusset, hinge again. Okay, hinge there. So this last bit, that's my last hinge. So see here, I've got 4 hinges. You can see those, and that's how we're going to glue them together. Now, flaps something different, Tracy. These are hinges. They're not flaps. We will be doing flaps, just not yet. All right. So there, you see, now we've got the way I folded it. Now we've got our 4 hinges. So we've got a wing. You have to excuse my hands. They're not dirty. I'm actually covered in ink. Okay. So what have you not got, Mary? No, I haven't. What have I missed? Okay, right. So I've got my wing. Then I've got my hinge, gusset, hinge, gusset, hinge, gusset, hinge, wing. Okay? I'm worried about Mary now. So does that make sense? So now we're going to glue them together. So the bits that we're actually going to glue together are in between these hinges. So we're going to glue those so that they're tight, so they become one unit, as it were. Okay? So we're going to glue in between each of these 4 hinges. So we're going to end up with a piece that looks like this. Okay? Now, I call it a wing, Lorraine. So, yeah, that's a wing. and a gusset. Flaps come later. All right, so now what I'm going to do, now what I do when I'm putting this together is I like to use a little bit of double-sided tape because that holds my hinge in place whilst it's drying. So I'm just going to put a little bit of tape on each of the hinges, not on the gusset, but on the hinge. Where's Ellie? Is she here? She's being ever so quiet. Or is she just drinking?
I was too busy typing out.
I think she's maybe trying to stop everyone falling over. Yeah, I don't know. Right, so now I'm going to put some glue. Oh.
Glue in the groove.
Glue in the groove, yeah. I'm going to put some glue there. Yeah. Oh, I've stopped again. Lorraine's on her second bottle of Prosecco.
It's been a rough week, hasn't it?
It has. Must have been a terrible week.
But the gussets
Hi, Mary Noel. All right, so now I've glued that. So now you can see I've got a proper hinge here. Okay, so now I'm going to do my second one. Oh, look at this. It's filthy. Honestly, this is the trouble with using white card.
Or having dirty fingers.
Or having dirty fingers. Well, I haven't usually got dirty fingers, to be fair.
Why don't you use ink, skin-coloured ink?
I could do, but then it won't show up on my book. Okay, so now I've glued those two together. So now I've got two. This is a right pig's ear. So now I've got two of my hinges done. Okay. So time to go on to the third one. A bit of glue. And then on the fourth one, like that. Okay, so now just let me make sure that they're stuck together. This is filthy, absolutely filthy now. I did wash my hands as well.
In ink?
No, not in ink. Hopefully yours is cleaner than mine. I've got filthy gussets. All right, so what I've got now is I've got my four hinges. Okay, so I'm going to get my equally filthy boner. Oh my God, look at the state of this. Okay, I don't do as I do as I say, all right? I think I have to use my other one. It's probably less, it's not less dirty.
What have you been doing today?
I don't know. Oh, so everything's filthy. I'm going to have a right good clean. It's disgusting, isn't it?
I'm doing fill the bath.
You might, well, yeah, actually, I did actually think about doing that for my mat.
What?
No, to put my mat in there to give it a right good scrub. Right, so now I've got my hinges, okay? Have we followed that? Are we good? You all right there, Mary? You only get 2 sips if it's a big boner, Mel. 1 sip if it's a small boner. There's 3 sips. I've got 2 boners. Yeah, 4 because it's filthy.
Got a few more downstairs.
What, boners? Oh yeah, I know. Not as many as I had. Right, I really hope yours is cleaner than mine because this is absolutely filthy. It wouldn't show up on a black one.
A boner is for life, not just for...
Not just for, yeah.
crafting.
Have you... I thought you got a big one, Mel. Right, are we all good? Fantastic. Okay, right, so that is our hinges done. Now, I love the back of hinges. makes me happy. We've got this lovely little arrangement on the back, but it's nice and flat, okay, which is kind of important when we come to put it in the book. Now, what I'd like to do now is I'd like to put this in the book, but for those of you who have not done this with me before, listen very carefully, because I will say this only once. Actually, I will say it more than once, but I'm just going to say it once for now. Right, okay. We're going to stick our hinges into our book. You are then going to have to practice a great deal of self-control, because I do not want you to touch it or fold it until this time next week, all right? And I know the what's the word I want? The sacrifice that you are making, but trust me, it needs time to set. So no folding, nothing. We will be rubbing our gussets in a moment, Liz. You're absolutely right. That's a very important part of putting our hinges in. So once we put our hinges into our book, you're going to have your book flat. I do not want you to fold it until next week. Okay. I'm really worried I'm going to ruin my book now because I've got filthy hands.
Stunt hands.
Stunt hands, yeah. All right, so grab your book. Okay, so here's mine. Here's one I made earlier. And what we're going to do is we're going to attach our hinges. Now, I've made this easy for you. Our hinges are 8 inches long, okay? And that means that they're going to fit exactly top to bottom onto our book. But what we need to do, and I'm going to show you how I do it, is we're going to need to find out where the middle of our spine is so that we can line our hinges up, okay? So I'm just going to make a little pencil mark in the middle of my hinge, middle of my spine. Now the spine is 1.5 inches, which means that the middle of it is 3/4 of an inch, which even I can figure out, which is quite impressive. So I'm just going to mark with a pencil there where it is, okay? And we're going to do the same on the other side. So I'm just going to mark where 3/4 of an inch is. Now, to line that up, it's going to line up with the very middle of our middle gusset, okay? If you want to be particular, you can always mark the middle of it, but I'm just going to eyeball it because even I can tell roughly where the middle of that gusset is. So the middle of that gusset is going to line up with where I've made that mark there and where I've made that mark there at the bottom, okay? So now what we have to do is stick it in. So if you haven't done this with me before, I'm going to tell you how I do it. So I'm just going to flatten out my hinges, and I'm going to take a little bit of double-sided tape, which here it is. And I'm just going to pop a little bit on because I like tape to hold, you know, to hold things in place whilst the wet glue dries, okay? Because I'm a huge believer in wet glue, as you know. So these bits of tape there, they're just there to hold it in place whilst it dries, okay? So, oh, I've lost my picture again. Okay, so you don't want to put too much glue on, but you need plenty. So this is the back of my hinges, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue all the way around the outside. And then I'm going to put more glue than I would, you know, than you'd normally see me put on things. All the way up my wings, okay?
On the back of your gussets.
Over the back of, yeah, well, I'm going to do that bit now. Now, over the back of the gussets, this is the bit that absolutely, most definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, has to attach really, really, really well to our book, to the spine. So I'm going to put lots and lots of glue on there. And then just because I can, I'm just going to put a little bit more glue just to the edge of the gussets. So you can see I've got quite a bit of glue on there, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick this into my book. So...
Is that like the amounts a child would use on them?
No, a child would use a lot more.
Okay.
So let's just get this right. So because I'm using wet glue, I've got a little bit of time to position. I'm going to start with my middle gusset. We might get some spillage here. It might squirt out. But you have to make sure that your gussets are absolutely, this is absolutely filthy, that your gussets are flat to your spine, okay? It's terrible, isn't it? Yeah. It's because I'm using, it's quite rare for me to ink the edges of something, and that's why. So, little boner's good for this. I'm going to go over.
I think we're going to have to restock on glue after this one.
I know. I'm just going to go over now and just make sure that every millimetre of the back of my hinge unit is attached to my book. This is so important. I can't tell you how important it is. You've got to have it absolutely flat and absolutely attached. So get that boner in there and wriggle it about a bit. Hi Celeste, sorry you just walked into that piece. Okay, so now if you look at my mine here, you can see that that's my pencil mark that I made for the middle, and the middle of my middle gusset is there. And if I turn it the other way round, it's exactly the same. The middle of my middle gusset lines up with the middle of my spine, okay, and that little pencil mark. But you can also see that none of my hinge unit is coming away from my spine, okay? So I keep going over this. So for the next 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that, I just keep going back and going over, because it's so important that that is attached as closely to our book as possible. I'm being rough with my boner. Sometimes you have to be.
That'll mix it up.
All right, so what did you say, Mark? Been a while since... Oh, for goodness sake. Yes, Wendy's right. Keep coming back and giving it a good rub. Very important. Okay, the success or failure of your book will depend on how well your hinge unit is stuck. All right. I'll tell you what, Mel, for the first time in months, he hasn't brought me a drink up.
We haven't got any.
Oh yeah, we need to go and do some shopping. Yeah. Oh well.
You want more to do?
I might have to. We've got a bottle of champagne.
Oh, that'll do.
Yeah, we'll have that.
Get us by till we have a cup of tea.
Yeah. We've got milk though, haven't we? Can have a cup of tea. When we're done, I mean. Alright, so now I've finished rubbing my gussets. I'm going to put that to one side. Do not bend this, no matter how tempted you are. Do not bend it, alright? So I'm going to put that to one side now.
If you bend it, you'll break it.
Yes, absolutely.
And no one wants that breaking.
Okay, so, right, what did we do last week? Let's have a look. What have I got here? Okay, so we've got our front page, which we made, and then we've got our hearty thing. I did put on my original, I did put some photo mats down there and decorated them up, but we can do that last, okay? And then I've got that bit. Oh, I put some photo mats on. I've put that upside down. Oh no, it goes that way. I don't blame you, Celeste. Right, so that page is done. Those two pages we haven't done because we can't do any more with this until we've actually got this page in the book. And then we've got that page, and I've lost a page. Have I got another page? I wonder if it's in my bag.
It'll be a boot.
should have. It should be. It's a big flappy page.
Perhaps
It
you've
should have
rubbed it.
been up there.
Perhaps you've rubbed it away.
I doubt it. Oh, here it is. Right, so I've still got this flappy page left, okay? So, just looking in the original... Oh, my thing's all fallen down. I attached it. Hang on. Need to look at this and do it a bit more technically. Right, so... That's my picture again. Okay, so we've got that page. We've got that page. Just got to, you know, add in some photo mats there. Like I said, I've put some photo mats in there. We're going to do this bit once we've put this page in. And then what we're going to do now is have a look at this page, which is the pop-up page. All right. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to mat my pages. So let's have a look and see what paper I've got. I want these two. So if you're using the same papers as me, I've got the red hearts and the yellow polka dots, or the white polka dots on yellow, and then those two on the other side. So now I'm going to decorate up, just base decorate up my pages. So, as I recall, that was 2 inches. But let me just check. Oh, magnets. 2 inches. Right. Okay, so 2 inch height. So that's going to be about there. And I want 2 and 2. So 2. 6 and 5.5. Oh, I didn't. Oh, I'm not very clever about that. I've just messed that up. Five and a half. So that actually, I shouldn't have cut that off. I might have to bodge that. Oh well, never mind. Okay. Gonna fit. Yeah, I did. I cut it wrong because I wasn't thinking. Told you I was overexcited.
Overexcited.
So I'm gonna bodge it. No, my camera's, I think it's lower, Mel. I need to have a right good sort out. Everything's gone wrong. Everything's dirty and needs cleaning. And I need to do some rearranging. Okay, I know you can see that line, but we'll pretend that it's not there. I'll hide it with something. I can always put a sticker down there.
Yes, don't copy that bit.
Yeah, don't copy that bit. Okay, so that's that bit done. So now I've got my, I've lost it again. Oh, here it is. So this page. So that's going to start off with, that doesn't even look straight. Oh. Let's put that there. Nearly there. Okay, so those pages are going to sit like that opposite each other. So now what we need to do is decorate inside this bit, which is this. So I've got my two red pieces, and then I've got that pretty thing. So let's have a look. That's 5.5 and 6.
Say bye-bye to Dee.
Oh, bye-bye, Dee. Oh, nice one. Good luck. Eight inches. So what did I say? 6 and 5.5. I'll do this right this time. 6 and 5.5. And now these I can cut at 2 inches. Yeah, I did it right that time. Okay, right, so now let's glue these. So I've opened up the flap. And I'm just going to attach that there like that. That's the 6 by 8 inch piece. Oh, it's 6 by 7 7/8 actually. then this piece on the other side.
You're a bit into shot now.
Okay, so let's pop that on there. Oh, not that side, that side. Okay.
And she's got gold glitter in the rhubarb gin.
That's nice.
She wasn't expecting.
We've got some gin.
Yeah.
We haven't had it yet. We had it for Christmas, didn't we?
I think we'll have it tonight.
I think we might. Yeah. To celebrate.
Getting through the week.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, right, so that's that page done. So that's that and then that. Now what I want to do is I want to go through making this bit, okay? So that when we open that up, our little gift opens. So
Your box pops
my
up.
box pops up. I didn't realise that was so rude until I said it. Okay, so grab some paper. I used some hearts apparently. See if I can find them. Oh, it's on the back of these. I did use some of these as cut aparts. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this at 6 3/4 by 3 inches.
I didn't realise it was rude until you said it was.
I didn't realise it was rude until I said it. Oh, yeah. And what did I say? 6 and...
6 3/4 by 3.
Six and 3/4. Oh. Okay, so that's that piece. But what I want to do is I need to glue this in a moment onto a piece of plain card. So I've used some of this red. We might as well cut it whilst we're here. So if you're using the love notes, I've used some of this dark red. So I'm going to cut my background piece at 3 1/8 of an inch. You're going to love this. By 6 7/8 of an inch. Okay, so that should, if I've measured it right, yeah, should just fit on there, just nicely like that. Okay.
3 1/8 by 1.
It was 3 1/8 by 6 7/8. Okay, I'm just going to put that away for a moment. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold that in half like that. Okay, and I'm going to use my dirty boner to get a good crease. And I'm going to do exactly the same on the red backing paper.
It's obviously been used before.
It has. Okay. So now I've got these folded in half like that. Okay. But what I need to do now is I need to cut my present out. So let me show you. This present bit here, the bit that flips up, we need to cut that out. So, as I recall, that's 1/2 inch. And that's 1 inch in. Right, so I'm going to draw where I need to cut. So I'm just going to turn that upside down. I've got it this way, and I'm going to measure 1/2 inch from the top and 1/2 inch from the bottom. And I'm just going to draw that in a line. You don't have to draw this line, but it's just so that you can see what I'm doing, okay? Okay, so that's 1/2 inch to there and 1/2 inch to there. Then what I need to do is measure in an inch. Oh, magnets. Measure in an inch.
Yeah, stuck on you.
From each end. And I'm just going to use my pen just to draw that in so that you can see where this is. Okay, so I've got to cut now, but I'm only going to cut 2 lines. So I'm going to cut from where that inch is all the way along that line, across that fold, all the way to where that inch is, and that one there. So just let me just grab my very other filthy mat and my knife. Look away, dear.
I'm going to make that cup of tea now.
Yes, good idea. And I'm going to cut this. I don't know where my safety ruler is. With my knife, because you can use scissors, but I'm just going to use my knife. Look away, dear, look away.
I'm looking away.
And I'm just going to make 2 cuts. Look, no blood. Like that. So that's, look, no blood. There's a lot of brown
ink
stuff.
Ink.
It is ink. Just in case you're wondering, it is ink. So this is what I've got here now. I've got this piece of paper that's got these 2 marks in it. Now, this fold is great, but this, which is our box, actually needs to fold the other way. So I'm now going to fold that bit like that, but I also need to make sure that these fold the right way. So I'm just going to take my ruler, and I'm just going to fold on the present bit. You know, I'm not going to fold this line here. I'm just going to fold on that line there, so you can see where I'm going with this, can't you? So I'm only folding between those 2 cut lines. I'm not actually folding anywhere else. Okay, so you've got something like that. All right. So now I'm going to take my bone folder and I am going to burnish those. Okay, so I've got a nice sharp crease. Okay. So you can see now that when that opens and closes, that's going to be my present, okay? So now what I need to do is attach this to the backing here, but when I'm gluing it, I'm only gluing the bits that are going to touch that red card. So this bit has got no glue on it at all. Only these bits around the outside have got glue on, okay? So let me just pop some glue on there.
That's 3D.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so easy when you know how. I'm just going to attach that now to my backing piece. Like that.
Like, yeah.
Like that. Okay, so when I fold it down, I've now got my present attached to my backing piece, so when I open up my book, it's going to pop up to be like a present. Okay, so that's good. But what I need to do now is I want to make these little flaps because they look pretty, don't they? So we're going to cut some of our patterned paper. I'll use my little one for this. We're going to cut it at 3/4 of an inch. So it's 3/4 of an inch height. And I've forgotten already. By 2 inches. So they're only little pieces. Okay, I've just got these 2 little pieces and I'm just going to round the edges on 2 of the corners, the bottom corners, okay? So it looks like that. Right, so those are my flaps. Now what I need to do is get my spare red card and I am going to cut at 2 inches by, hold on, let me think, 2 inch, no I'm not, I'm going to ignore that, I'm going to cut it at 2 1/8 of an inch, sorry, 2 1/8 of an inch by, what's 3/4 plus 5/8? Three quarters. It's 1 3/8 of an inch. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. 1 3/8 of an inch.
Yes, you're right.
Okay, so I've got these 2 pieces. Going to quickly grab my scoreboard. This just makes it easier, and I'm just going to score on the 1 3/8 of an inch side at 1/2 inch. Okay. So let me show you. This is 2 inches and 1/8 of an inch. So that's 2 1/8 of an inch, that bit. Okay, so that's going to fit on there nicely widthways. All right. Then what we've got here is a 1/2 inch flap. So to make sure that we've got a nice red edge all the way around the outside of our pattern paper, we've got 2 1/8 of an inch by 1 3/8 of an inch. Is that what I said? Yeah. And then I've just scored at 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to round those corners. So that this fits on quite nicely on top there like that. Okay. Where's my glue? Oh, under there.
Under something.
So essentially what I've done is I've taken that pattern paper and I've got an 1/8 of an inch sort of frame all the way around it because it looks nice, and then I've got a 1/2 inch flap for all you missing out on your flaps.
Nice red flaps are going to try.
It is a nice red flap, so I'm just gonna burnish that.
Rub it with your boner.
I have rubbed it with my boner. Okay. There we go. So what I've got is I've got these little things that are going to attach to our present, like, you know, bits of box that have opened. Okay, like that. So now I've got my box here. I'm going to put some glue on the inside of that flap, like that, and I'm going to attach it to my present like that. Okay, and then the same on the other side here, like that. Okay, so now when this is, my book's closed, it's going to be like this, and then when I open it, ta-da, I'm going to get a pretty box, and all we need to do is make the hearts that come out of it. So the way that I did that was I attached it with acetate. Okay, so if anybody can think of a better way of doing this, please do, because I recognise that this just didn't work very well for me at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some of my heart shapes, you know, like the little sort of planner hearts that we talked about last week. Oh,
It's 3D.
so let me just get some more colours going on here.
I'll do that for you, but my fingers are dead after last night.
Yeah, I know you liked it, you enjoyed punching. I had Mark punching last night, punching above your weight, weren't you, dear?
Yes, for hours on end.
Okay, that's not wide enough.
Texture on that red card.
It is. It's basil, I think, the Doodlebug card.
Just got a close up of it.
Oh dear, I keep knocking things. Sorry. It has got a nice texture though.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give you an example of how I put this together. I'm not necessarily going to finish all of it tonight. You can go off and add as many hearts as you like to this. So I'm just going to make my hearts.
What make are your punches?
Amazon. Got them off Amazon. They're Reha, which is a very, very, very good German brand. They're very nice punches, but these are ones that I got off Amazon. I don't know if you want to find the link, Mark. It's a set of 3.
I will find it. Razor.
I got them fairly recently, so they should still be. I think they were £15 for the 3. They weren't a great.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, they weren't very expensive as punches go.
You got that?
Oh, thank you.
Link is Judy.
I thought I'd punched out some. Oh.
Don't go.
singing?
Humming.
Oh, is that what it is?
Humming.
Okay. So I've just made a few hearts up just to give you the idea. Now, I need some acetate, which I'm not even sure I've got up here. Oh.
You have. There is some in the box.
Is there? Well, there was.
It's towards the left. It's got all white paper.
Oh, got it.
In it.
Yeah. Okay, so on my original, I added the hearts onto acetate strips. You can just see there, it's just like a strip. But it didn't work terribly well. So I thought a better way to do it might be to kind of... Oh, I need my scissors. Where are my scissors? Oh, there's some scissors here. These will do. Oh, they're sticky. I can't see.
I'll just show you something to do with that.
Oh, ha ha. So I thought I could just, you know, like maybe use some glossy accents or something to stick this in and just add on some, where was my glossy accents? Oh, I've got boxes everywhere. Actually, I could use my, sticky tape, couldn't I? That polyester tape, that would do. That would be good. It'll be much quicker. Oh, I keep losing my acetate because I can't see. So all I need to do is just really just build up some hearts onto the acetate.
Here's Martha Moore.
Morphy. Oh yes.
She's been eating.
And then add them into my box like that.
Say hello to Zoe. It's the first time.
Hello, Zoe. I hope it's not your last, although we've finished talking the filth that we were talking before, I think. Have we?
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Okay, so there I've got some hearts on the acetate, and now what I'm going to do is attach. I don't know whether this is going to work. Is it going to lie flat? Should do, shouldn't
stick
it?
it down flat when it's flat. And then when you open it, they'll spin out.
I don't know. I hate doing this bit because I just started them on like strips before, which was okay. But they just went a bit wibbly.
Yeah, you've got to stick it down when it's flat, haven't you? Wibbly.
Yeah, it was wibbly. I should have stuck these on afterwards. That's in the wrong place. Oh, now I've stuck it. Those hearts are in the wrong place, aren't they? Yeah, I'm going to take those off a minute. Oh, I've stuck it to myself now. So if I lie that flat now, and oh, flipping heck, and fold that, then when I open it up, yeah, that's better. That'll work. And then I can stick that on there. But you get the idea. You just need to add your hearts on until you're happy with them, so that when you open up your book, don't get glue all over them like I have, you're going to get your hearts popping up, okay? And you can do that in several layers. And at the front I'm going to just do what I did before, which was just to have some thin strips of acetate. No, because the strips don't hold the back ones up high enough. That was why I changed it. Okay. There was logic, vaguely, for a change. Okay, so let's use a little bit of this Wonder Stick. Pop my... So you can see I've got like a strip of acetate that's got a heart on. Oh, look at that, I've put the heart on upside down. Whatever.
It isn't bad luck.
No, it'll do. So let's pop that in the front there. So now you get the idea. So when it's shut, when you open it up, it's going to have all these pop-up hearts hanging about. You get the idea. Okay. Right, so you get the idea. So this, when this is folded down, it's going to be, when you open up your book, it's going to be like, da-da! There's lots of hearts floating about. So now what we need to do is actually attach this into our page, which is the easiest bit of it all. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some glue onto the outside of that red bit. On both sides. And we're going to guide it into the fold. And push that down. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to look like a right idiot. But in theory, then when we open our page, we're going to have our box of hearts little pop up. Okay? Really easy.
It's got 2 chances.
Yeah, it did work miraculously. So what you can do now is decorate up. So I've put you know, some extra hearts hanging about. I've put some of the stickers on. I've put, you know, some of the ephemera or whatever. So that's it for tonight. What I want to do next week is we'll decorate that bit up. We'll put our pages in the book, and then we can make the waterfall, which is the back of that page there. So are there any questions? I've lost my glasses, top of my head. Are there any questions before we go, or does that all make sense to everybody? Okay? Or are you just not taking any notice of me? Because I don't really blame you, to be honest.
Man's just put a drink soda in.
Oh. That would be a good idea. I could do with a drink.
We'll have one in a moment.
We will have one in a moment. Okay, so we're all good. Excellent. So, right. I'm just going to give my gussets a quick rub. I'm going to use my big boner this time, only because I don't know where my little boner's gone. Okay. Do not fold it. Pardon me. We'll see you back here next Friday at 7:30. Thank you ever so much for joining us this evening. And yeah, see you next Friday, which will only come round too quickly, I'm sure. A few more. Have you not? Well, I suppose you had many flaps, did you really? All right then, guys. Lovely to see you this evening, and we'll see you all next week. Lots of love. Bye.
Oh.